My brothers and sisters, what is going on? This is Steel Sermon in the house. Monday evening with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link in the description. So it's that time of year. Once again, the OTAs are underway. Players are warming up and practicing, and a little bit of good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers as our franchise quarterback has been making a pretty good case of making himself our franchise quarterback, as Kenny Pickett has really turned some heads as the OTAs have began, and more specifically on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, I believe. I wanted to make this video earlier, but I ran into some things that I needed to take care of. But Wednesday in particular was a really good day for Kenny Pickett. There were reports of his adjustment in the pocket, and his presence was becoming very much improved. His awareness was improving. He was starting to put his head on a swivel a little bit more. He was starting to maneuver his body a little bit in the pocket like Big Ben did. And overall, I mean, he just looked way more confident in the pocket, and he looked like, a competent starter in the league. Obviously, when you're a rookie quarterback, you're going to have, the first-year jitters, and you're going to have the mistakes that you're going to make. But according to what Mike Tomlin said and according to what management said, Kenny Pickett has really been improving a lot. And more specifically, there was a point where the Steelers were taking drill periods, and in back-to-back drives, Kenny Pickett led touchdown drives against our first-team defense in both drives, back-to-back. That is absolutely incredible in my opinion, because those are against regular starters, and the Steelers, you could say what you want about our defense, okay? I'm not knocking at it. It's a physical defense. We know how to generate turnovers. We're not the best when it comes to limiting scoring, but when you look at the Steelers' defense as a whole, overall, you're getting a pretty solid defense that has all the makings, to be, honestly, a top 5 defense. At the very worst, top 10. And the fact that Kenny Pickett was able to conduct back-to-back touchdown drives against this defense, against the first starters, that's absolutely incredible. He has really improved his mechanics, and he has really been improving his style of play. And it just kind of makes you wonder now, is Kenny Pickett due to have a breakout sophomore season? Because the way I see it, this offense is going to be as good as Kenny Pickett allows them to be good. And, you could say what you want about Matt Canada. I mean, the only way feasible that Matt Canada gets fired at any point in this season, kind of like I said in my George Pickens video I put out a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, is that if Matt Canada doesn't know what he's doing as far as the play calling goes once again, which is very likely, but you can't make any excuses for Kenny Pickett either. You look at what we built around him in this offseason to make him our franchise guy, in order to make him that, one of the top QBs in the league, quite frankly. He has a lot around him. The O-line is still not perfect, but it is way better than what it's been over the past couple of seasons. We got him weapons now, and we improved the run game as well. I mean, Najee Harris is coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons behind a pretty porous offensive line that's been improved. Not substantially, but it has been improved in the offseason. We get Kenny Pickett, you're getting George Pickens in his second season. You get a great security blanket and pretty much a sixth man on the O-line in Darnell Washington. And say what you want about Diontae Johnson, but, he is good when it comes to the separation, and Diontae Johnson's only going to be as good as he allows himself to be. He's his own worst enemy. So, I mean, yeah, you sit down here and blame Canada all you want, which is understandable, but you have to understand as well, there's no excuse for Kenny Pickett to not succeed. And I think that this was a great first step for Kenny Pickett to have that breakout sophomore season and to be able to really come on the scene and be a regular starter for us. I already think that he has all the makings to be a regular starter for us. He proved it last season. I mean, sure, he got concussed a couple of times. That happens. But what I'm talking about is his skill set, his confidence, and just his overall toughness. And we saw glimpses of it as well. He had 5 game-winning drives for us last season. And more notably, he came against Vegas and Baltimore in back-to-back weeks deep in the season. He cut down on the interceptions, started throwing some more touchdown passes, but I think now we're going to start to see a guy who's more confident to take a shot down the field. And who does he develop chemistry with on as far as his weapons go? Is he going to have that Pickett to Pickens connection? Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's the fan favorite over here. Maybe he starts to, show kind of like what Big Ben did early in his career, and he goes to his security blanket tight end. He targets Freiermuth or Darnell Washington. Or maybe somehow, some way, Deontay Johnson finally lives up to that contract extension that we gave him at the beginning of last season. But overall, I love what Kenny Pickett's been doing in OTAs. And let's get on to it. I kind of like making these OTA videos because it kind of, it's kind of like a good overreaction or underreaction kind of video. I sat down here around this time last year saying the same thing about Mitch Trubisky, honestly, and boy, did I end up being wrong about Mitch Trubisky. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below about Kenny Pickett's OTAs. This is Steel Sermon checking on out for the night. May God be with you all.